Let's get into some Polymarket news. Could see a $500 billion company coming into the New York Stock Exchange. This is what we're going to break down today. I think you'll love it. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. Get into self-custody, guys, because this is where you can start to store your tokens as you're making exchange plays, or even if you're doing it out in DeFi. Tangem is the spot for you. Go over to tangem.com, use our link down below. It's going to give you access to a 3-card set. Go ahead and get that. This is a very easy wallet to set up, very fast activation, and one of the most secure out there. It's the one I like to use, so make sure and use our link down below to get started in self-custody. Let's kind of lead off here with a couple of things that I want to go to. One is Shayne Copeland and his tweet right here. We're proud to announce that ICE, the owner of the New York Stock Exchange and the largest exchange company in the world, is making a strategic investment of $2 billion in Polymarket. This will put the valuation at around $9 billion post-money. And the partnership right now is a major step in bringing prediction markets to the financial mainstream. Imagine what it would look like if Wall Street could actually make bets on elections or sporting or things like the Fed or almost anything you can imagine in terms of a prediction market. That's the kind of scenario that could play out here with Polymarket. ICE right there taking a minority stake in Polymarket at a $9 billion valuation. ICE was up 4% in pre-market trading. So immediate hit to them. That was a good move. And you kind of see their Wall Street banner right there, against all odds. And I would agree with that, as Copeland has been against all odds for quite some time. All right, so let me go to a clip real quick. This is Polymarket and ICE announcing the partnership. Take a look.
I guess if you can't beat them, join them.
That seems to be the case, Sarah.
Old money meets new money. How do you feel about partnering with the old guy?
I mean, just look at us, right? I'm old and bald. He's young and mop-headed. I have a closet full of ties. I don't think he owns a tie. The company that we're sitting in was started in 1792. He's got the hottest financial services company in 2025. This company is probably the most distributed company in the world inside of the financial services industry and the existing banking system. Initially, we're going to be distributing his data. I think even for you, Andrew, is becoming hot news. But he and his engineers have already been working with our team, and I'm telling you, they're out there. They understand where the puck is going, and we're following them to make sure that we don't get disintermediated.
Older juggernaut companies, they make announcements about different types of things they're going to do with cutting-edge technology, but with what we're doing, there's going to be real bite.
How soon is the U.S. market going to be able to have access?
It's happening very soon. We're going to be rolling out the beta this month. A few people have been on it. And I can't believe we're being called.
I love Copeland. He's so natural about this. But point being right now, guys, is we're getting ready to see Polymarket on U.S. soil. Markets on everything. You're going to be able to get an invite right now. For those who are interested in going that direction versus the DeFi route, you can actually go over to polymarket.us. There's the landing page. Put your phone number in and get an early invite for that. I think there's like 60,000 people on the wait list for this thing right now. And it's interesting because, remember, we showed this last week, and it was an interesting clip, and you guys probably saw that, but right there was Terrence Duffy. You guys know who that is. He gave, the international sign of freedom and friendship to Shayne. And Jeffrey was right there in the middle. So I think that might have created the bond right there that started to move on what we're seeing right now in the market. Let me go over to another one, because this is where Sprecher was actually defending Copeland. Take a look.
And we're left with consumers having to work with guys like you who are a lot older, may not, with all due respect, but may not understand.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs, like Shayne and Tariq, they both gentlemen have gone through significant personal sacrifice to get to where they are today. Sacrifice that the public exchanges up here couldn't tolerate. I was falsely accused of something and was raided by the FBI. I thought about it and I said, I don't really know this guy. I don't really want to get involved. But that weighed on me. And ultimately, when Shayne was exonerated, I picked up the phone and said, I have something in common with you, and I'd love to sit down and talk about whether or not we could compare notes.
Interesting. I did not know that about Sprecher. So intriguing, bedfellows there. Well, the point being is that if you look at the competition, there's really only one other player out there, and that's Kalshi. And if you look at the notional volume by category right now between Polymarket and Kalshi, the leader right now is mostly sports. It's that big yellow section right there. You can kind of see it. If you pull that away, look at the volume differentiation. This is mostly what Kalshi is driving on right now versus when you look at Polymarket, we're seeing a blend of crypto, politics, sports. This is a much healthier, I think, platform in terms of flexibility and also being able to draw in users that are interested across a lot of different interests. So that is a big factor, I think, and as you start to see, remember, Polymarket not available in the US yet, so when that happens, I think that will be the domination of the two sectors out there. Now, I'm not saying that they win automatically. Kalshi could come out and do something to defend against this, but right now, blue is definitely dominating green, as this tweet says, and you know what that means. You can kind of look at Polymarket. I'll just pop in on this a little bit closer. Look at this. When you pull away the sports component, that's the mix in terms of Polymarket domination and yet to really have the US market. So let's go over to some partnerships. This, of course, was Polymarket and the X partnership announcement. That was an official partnership. Then, of course, you started to see this massive news feed breaking in, which I would say is one of the best news feeds out there right now, outside of maybe Perplexity. Perplexity's got a pretty good one as well. And worth mentioning that, of course, Perplexity running on Polymarket. Let's take a look over, though, if you remember, Kalshi was out there doing a lot of different kind of deals, claiming that there was an actual XAI deal. That story was actually retracted, though, so no deal was in place. I think Kalshi's got to do some catching up to try to keep up with Copeland and what they're doing. One thing to consider with Polymarket are some of the third-party builders that are outside. Think of this much like a platform. In the early days, Twitter used to do this. I wonder if Polymarket will take that tact in terms of using the ability to grow the ecosystem and then sucking some of those features into the tool set themselves. I don't know. We'll see if that plays out over time. Other things, remember Stocks2Wits. This was another partnership now on Polymarket. You've also got Polymarket getting investment capital from 1789, this being the Trump Don Jr.'s back company. That was another big move. And of course, I got another clip for you because this will go into a little bit more detail on where, remember, if you guys know Nate Silverman and the 538 polls, if you haven't checked those out, they're mostly political polls, but this was the example of Polymarket actually doing better than 538. Take a look.
If you look at the 538 final polling average, it was 48 for Harris, 47 for Trump. What did Harris wind up getting? She's at about 48.2. Trump, though, at 50%. So the polls underestimated Trump's support again, which is what we saw in the last two elections. And when you look at the state polls, it was also the same sort of story. Across all 7 battleground states, Trump's support was underestimated by anywhere from 2 to 4 points. And, you know, that, and I feel like we say that every election about what the polls are going to have to do.
A new phenomena, and that's gambling polls. They call it the poly poll or something. I've never heard of it.
Polymarket.
Polymarket, I guess it's 64 to 38. So that's not bad. I don't know what the hell it means, but it means that we're doing pretty well.
I love it. Polypoll. Trump, sometimes I don't think he has a clue. I really don't. Remember, though, that Nate Silver, the guy who created 538, actually joined Polymarket in creating prediction markets now. So the clarity is there. This is going to be one of the key things, I think, as we'll see elections play into this, sporting events, and all sorts of things within the finance sector for sure. Polymarket stablecoins also are leading the way in terms of what you can do with a stablecoin as you start to engage and set up your markets inside of Polymarket. This is where it gets intriguing because Polymarket now pays out the highest interest rates of any prediction market. They're paying 4% annualized rewards paid out daily to any open positions on USDC. So that is a very unique component that is a big feature. I think that many people don't realize that is even available because of crypto and blockchain. That's one of the reasons we're starting to see those kind of features and benefits. This is the total deposit right there on USDC for deposit into safes, and obviously this could affect a little bit of where maybe Circle and USDC will go once the Polymarket shifts over to a new stablecoin, which is going to happen. So if that does occur, be on the lookout right there. So here's kind of the tokenization play you'll notice here. ICE and this partnership could signal that they're trying to work into DeFi. DeFi would essentially go through Polygon because Polygon, Polymarket, all tied together. You look at TVL over on stablecoins. If you look further on down into the charts, you'll start to see, let me kind of zoom in on this for you guys. As Polymarket rises in the prediction market, this TVL is going to continue to rise. So with Polymarket rises Polygon. So this is a big opportunity in terms of Polygon token. Polymarket VPoly is trading over on the tokenized side on Ventuals. And this is interesting because it's setting at around 10 billion implied value right now. You can kind of see it right there at the top. Remember the 9 billion valuation on the investment capital that ICE made. And if you look at this in the capacity of what the New York Stock Exchange could do in terms of DeFi, I mean, this is where Polymarket literally and ICE could end up being worth $500 billion in terms of value. Think about that. Because of the access, not only to the US market, but global markets around prediction. I think this is going to be a huge, huge play coming soon. Now here is ARK and Cathie Wood starting to detach away from DraftKings, because I think DraftKings will be one of the companies that will be impacted by this kind of market and prediction strategy that's being used by both Kalshi and Polymarket. And she's starting to move into some other aspects. If you kind of compare, BitMine right there is above Circle. There's Robinhood and even Roblox in there, Palantir holding in, Coinbase and Tesla rounding out. So it's very possible we could start to see, once Polymarket starts to actually drop a token, then we'll get a chance, I think, to start to see some activity in other markets around this. Kalshi versus Polymarket, this is where the key opinion leader wars have begun. I don't know about this because I'm watching this on X all the time. It's interesting because there seems to be a division. It seems like almost cultish, like where you get the Kalshi people and you get the Polymarket people. I'm going to run some polls out there to see what you guys think. And by the way, let me know down in the comments, which one are you using? Which one do you believe is going to win here, at least in the United States? Because remember, Kalshi is actually in now, and in fact embedded into Robinhood, and is legal here in the United States, where Polymarket is not there yet and not necessarily embedded into any kind of crypto exchanges that could kind of help onboard a massive audience. So let me know what you guys think. But if you end up winning a community, and remember, Polymarket global versus Kalshi mostly US, this will get interesting fast. If you consider the exposure to the Web3 community through the ag layer, you've got to look at this right here, as Polygon is now collaborating with Immutable again. A lot of games launching there on Polygon's Immutable Plays Polygon Hub. And this could open up some opportunities here to tie all this together. So still another big benefit, I think, in general. And just to take a look on RWAs, Polygon holding the number 3 slot right now. So above Arbitrum and above Avalanche and even Aptos. So those in themselves, I think, continue to hold down a great opportunity where all this is going. All right, so if you go over to the Polygon chart, I'm going into the Matic chart here just to show you the age. But look at the high on where Polygon was at around 289. This is coming back in, of course, in December of 2021, last top of the bull market, to where we are now. And we are holding at around right at 23.23 as we're making this video today, even under where Polygon actually got kicked off, which was around 33 cents. So this may be the time, guys, if we're going to see a breakout on something, this might be an opportunity where Polygon could get a little bit of a run here. And if you just take a look at that furthest down to where it is right there, look at that growth right there. That's still a 53% move just in a very short period of time. And nothing has really been transitioned yet. And it's still very, very early in this ecosystem around DeFi, prediction markets, and how Polygon could tie into all of this. So we're going to be covering this and a lot more. Of course, the markets are on fire today. We'll get a lot more of that to you. Make sure and subscribe if you're not already part of PBN. And of course, you can also jump into our own Diamond Circle, which is our private group. We leave a link down below. Follow me out there on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on The Paul Barron Show.